Okay, folks, up next we have Farah. Farah is a student at North Providence High School who is from the town of Safriya, city of Jaffa in Palestine. Farah!
My name is Farah. I'm a Muslim Palestinian high school student. I was born and raised in the United States. I grew up in a family that lived the Palestinian struggle every single day of their lives. I grew up watching my homeland being bombed constantly on the news. Not until a couple of years ago did I truly begin to understand the pain and suffering of the Palestinians. I didn't know what being Palestinian meant. Not until I saw my great-grandmother's tears over my family members' deaths did I truly understand the level of depth and pain of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Both sets of my grandparents and great-grandparents had experienced the Nakba, the catastrophe in Arabic. The Nakba, as my family experienced it, is what follows. My grandfather from my mother's side was born in Haifa, Palestine. However, he is from Burin, Nablus. He holds his village and Palestine so close to his heart, but he was forced to leave his home in 1948. As a 7-year-old boy, he was displaced from his home and became a refugee. The home that he was born in, the home he was growing up in, the place that he called home was stripped from him. Till this day, my grandpa says, I wish I could at least live in the dumpsters of Burin. My grandpa loves and misses Burin, Palestine, more than anything. It is his home. He became a citizen of the United States 20 plus years ago, and he requested for his birthplace to be listed on his passport as Haifa, Palestine. He traveled back to Palestine for the first time since the Nakba in 2000. He was kept at the border for over 6 hours for no reason other than his birthplace, Haifa. Imagine not being able to enter the place you were born and raised. Imagine being expelled from your home at such a young age. Nowhere to run, no place to go. This is what 750,000 plus Palestinians experienced on May 15th, 1948. This day is so painful to the Palestinians. My father was actually born on May 15th, but he refuses to celebrate his birthday because it is the day of El Nakba. So picture this. You are sitting in your home and one day, without warning, a complete stranger barges in and tells you that you need to leave your house right now and to leave everything behind. My grandmother on my mom's side was born in Athara, Ramallah. Athara is a small town in Ramallah full of beautiful, simple people. In 1967, my grandmother and her 6 siblings, all between the ages of 3 and 13, were forced to leave their home in Athara. My great-grandparents picked up the 7 children and left with nowhere to go. They became refugees overnight, forced to leave their safe place, forced to abide by the rules of people who only hold power due to the countries and organizations that prop them up. In the year 2000, my grandmother was finally able to go home and visit family in Palestine. But even this was a struggle. Because she was born in Palestine, the Israeli occupation forces held her at the border for over 4 hours. Each year, when she is thinking about traveling back home, my grandmother grows even more worried that she won't be able to enter Palestine, all because she was born there. My grandparents from my father's side have experienced all of the same hardships. However, there is one difference. They are not even allowed to visit whatsoever. According to the Israeli government, my grandparents have no rights to visit the land they were born in. They have no right to visit any part of Palestine. They have no rights as Palestinians, although they do have Jordanian passports. This is especially a problem due to the fact that this is in violation of UN Resolution 194, which demands that Israel respect and promotes the rights of Palestinian refugees to return to their homes and properties. These stories explain the bare minimum of what my grandparents and more than 750,000 Palestinians experienced. Since 1948, the U.S. has given approximately $233.7 billion to Israel, making it the largest annual recipient of American aid. This is absolutely ridiculous. The United States is giving our tax dollars, our hard-earned money to murderers, to an apartheid system that lacks humanity, to an Israeli settler movement, military, and society which has killed thousands of innocent women, children, and men, all for land in which they have been trying to take over for 73 years. 73 years of disproportionate conflict. Guns versus rocks. You do the math. And still, through all of this, the Palestinians stand as strong as ever. But their voices need to be heard. Everything they experience needs to be displayed for the whole world to see. This is not a conflict. This is a genocide. We need to stand up and take action. No more words. Action! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
No justice! No peace!
We need to get justice for Palestine. I urge you all to support the BDS movement. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions. This is a movement that is Palestinian-led for freedom, justice, and equality. This movement upholds the principle that Palestinians are entitled to the same rights as the rest of humanity. The BDS movement stresses boycotting, which means withdrawing support from Israel's apartheid regime, complicit Israel sporting, cultural and academic institutions, and from all Israeli and international companies engaged in violations of Palestinian human rights. In addition, this movement urges banks, local councils, churches, pension funds, and universities to withdraw investments from the state of Israel. And of course, the last piece is to implement sanctions against the state of Israel until it recognizes the fundamental Palestinian right of return, an end to occupation and colonization, and the recognition of the fundamental rights of all Palestinians under Israeli rule. If you support the rights of Palestinians and believe in ending the occupation, BDS is the movement to be a part of. Palestinians deserve better. Let's bring them the justice they've been fighting for, the justice they deserve.
Ladies and gentlemen, Farah, give her another round of applause. Awesome. She is the future. The young ones have to lead the way. I mean, I'm young, but you know what I mean.